Hockey coaches teaching gender identities to your kid. With the change to a Doug Ford government here at Queen's Park, teachers may not be teaching the Liberals' sex ed curriculum this September, but City News has exclusively learned that hockey coaches will, at least part of it.
Well, it's not so much the message, it's the delivery. As a parent, I'd be concerned about somebody who's genuinely a volunteer entering into dialogue with my child about sexual orientation. Again, I think there are better ways to distribute this message, and perhaps Hockey Canada should have professionals facilitate this rather than volunteers.
According to Ontario Hockey Federation President Phil McKee, volunteers were given 2 online courses, each about 45 minutes in length, that focus on gender identity and expression, and the Federation's policy on accommodations with dressing rooms. Players over the age of 12 can now change in the dressing room that aligns with their gender identity, rather than their anatomical sex. Volunteers must hold preseason chats where they and the players introduce themselves to the team along with the preferred pronouns, explain to players why it's important to use those pronouns, and ask for and share pronouns. The coaching guide even includes a glossary, including terms such as LGBTIQ2S, transgender, and intersex. In an email from Greater Toronto Hockey League President Scott Oakman to coaches and obtained by City News, he says that audits of the program will be conducted by the GTHL and OHF, and that if by next year 80% show compliance, the association's audits will no longer be required.
As a volunteer, I'd be questioning, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. As a parent, I would have concerns about said volunteer entering into the dialogue that the province just terminated an entire curriculum over.
So what does the PC government that canceled that curriculum have to say about it? I took the issue straight to the Minister of Education here at Queen's Park.
I can't speak to that today, but I am confident in terms of our classroom curriculum, teachers will be utilizing what they're familiar with and was last used in 2014.
Do you think, though, that volunteer coaches should be giving this sort of education to players as young as the age of 5?
What I think we need to be doing is focusing in on the classroom and ensuring that our teachers are equipped with what they last taught in 2014, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Now over to Fiza, who's been speaking with hockey parents all day.
I'm inside the North Toronto Arena earlier today. Parents were here with their kids who were enrolled in summer hockey camps as well as hockey leagues throughout the year. And I can tell you that by speaking with these parents, a lot of them were not familiar with this new policy. They didn't know that it would be implemented this upcoming season, and the reactions to it were mixed. What do you think about coaches being required to have this training?
I think it's always good for coaches to be in the know and to get the training in order to deal with children and conversation as they come up. And it's a lot of responsibility putting it on the coaches, having to bring up so many different topics and sensitivities. I think the awareness is good, but is it their responsibility? I'm not so sure.
This curriculum isn't taught in school, but it is in the hockey league. Would that be concerning?
It's not a concern to me. I'm sure that other parents might find that to be a concern. They won't be surprised. They'll, have a better idea what that's all about. Why somebody might choose to go by they or them.
It's a little weird, but it doesn't sound like it's going to hurt anything, so I support it.
I support sex ed in schools. I think to the degree that hockey teams are becoming more diverse, and people of different genders and gender identifications, then I think that might be reasonable.
I think all kids learn differently and accept things at different times and stages, so it is something that needs to be dealt with properly and with parent permission as well.
And I also spoke with parents who did not want to appear on camera. They did express outrage and concern. Some of that concern was around the fact that kids as young as 5 years old would be learning about gender identity. Some of the parents felt that was not appropriate. Also, that volunteer staff, including coaching staff, would be the ones passing on this knowledge. So some of the parents felt that wasn't appropriate also. Coming up shortly on City News, I take these concerns to a gender identity expert who explains when and how is best to teach our children. Kids and gender identity. We've been speaking about this throughout the show. A City News exclusive has revealed volunteer hockey coaches will be mandated to teach their players a portion of sex ed they will not be learning in school. I spoke with an expert about how and when children should be taught about gender identity. At what age should we start to have a conversation with kids about the pronouns of either if it's he, she, or they and them?
That's a tricky one because each child develops differently. When they start to say, you know, I'm a boy, I'm a girl, then that's where it would be a good spot to already with our 3-year-old, we start talking about how different families come in many different ways. So, for example, some of your friends have 2 mummies, some of your friends have 2 daddies. So it's just little things that we can say that can end up making a big difference in terms of the gender dynamics.
So who should be teaching kids about this?
Well, I think it's got to start at the home, in the home. That's the base camp. And then when they're school age, it should happen in school, that teachers are aware of not playing up these gender stereotypes, making people feel comfortable for the children to be who they want to be.
And should it be a hockey coach that they're hearing this from?
I don't know if we know that there's one best person. I think it would have to be this kind of package deal where it's reinforced at home. Because if it's the hockey coach saying it and then at home the parents or whoever is the main child carer is saying, no, don't believe that, then it's not going to have any real impact. So I think it's a step to try and create change, but everybody has to be on board. So it's almost, I'd say that the parents also need to be part of that education process for it to make a difference.
And for more details on the changes to minor hockey in Ontario, including a copy of the internal memo of what volunteer coaches have to cover with their chats with kids, you can head to our website, citynews.ca.